Imagine waking up to the sight of rolling green mountains blanketed in morning mist. A quiet country road leading past covered bridges and charming villages. And the smell of fresh maple syrup drifting from a nearby farm. Picture yourself working from a cozy home office, gazing out at forests that explode with color every autumn. Knowing that someone actually paid you tens of thousands of dollars just to be there. Sounds like a dream cooked up by someone who's watched too many Hallmark movies, right? In a time when remote workers are scattered across overpriced cities, watching rent swallow half their paychecks while their savings accounts gather dust instead of interest, the idea of getting paid to live somewhere beautiful feels almost cruel in its impossibility. But here's the thing. It's not impossible. It's happening right now in 2025 in one of America's most stunning and underrated states. Tucked in the northeastern corner of the country where New England charm meets mountain wilderness, there's a state so desperate for young, talented workers that they are willing to write you a check just for showing up and calling it home. Whether you're a remote worker trapped in an expensive city, a digital nomad looking to finally put down roots, a young professional wanting to build wealth faster, or anyone who's dreamed of trading concrete jungles for actual forests, this video might just change your life. This isn't clickbait. This isn't a scam. Vermont has one of the most generous and legitimate relocation incentive programs in America, and most people have no idea it exists. In today's video, we're diving deep into why Vermont will pay you up to $50,000 to work remotely, how the programs actually work, exactly what you need to qualify, and whether life in Vermont is worth making the leap. Let's get into it. The program's more than one way to get paid. First, let's clear something up. When we talk about Vermont paying you $50,000, we're not talking about a single check that arrives in your mailbox. Let me break down exactly how this works. Program 1, the Remote Worker Grant. This is Vermont's flagship program, and it's what put the state on the map for relocation incentives. Administered by the Vermont Department of Economic Development. The Remote Worker Grant Program offers direct cash payments to people who move to Vermont while working remotely for an out-of-state employer. The current grant amount is up to $7,500, paid out in installments over your first 2 years of Vermont residency. That's real money, deposited directly into your bank account, just for choosing Vermont as your new home. To qualify, you need to be a full-time remote employee of a company located outside Vermont. Freelancers and self-employed individuals also qualify, as long as the majority of your clients are outside the state. You must become a Vermont resident and actually live there, not just claiming an address. The application process is straightforward. You submit your application online, provide proof of remote employment, verify your new Vermont address, and if approved, the payments begin. Program 2. The new Relocating Homeowner Grant. Here's where the numbers start getting exciting. If you're willing to not just rent in Vermont but actually buy a home, the state sweetens the deal significantly. The new Relocating Homeowner Grant provides up to $15,000 for remote workers who purchase a primary residence in Vermont. This grant is specifically designed to encourage long-term commitment. Vermont doesn't just want remote workers to try the state for a year and leave. They want you to plant roots, join the community, and become part of the fabric of Vermont life. The requirements mirror the Remote Worker Grant. You need to be employed remotely by an out-of-state company. Relocate to Vermont and purchase a home that becomes your primary residence. The grant funds can be used toward closing costs, down payments, or other home buying expenses. When combined with a remote worker grant, you're already looking at up to $22,500 in direct cash incentives. Program 3, the Flood Resilient Homes Program. Vermont experienced devastating floods in recent years. And in response, the state created programs to help people purchase and renovate homes in ways that make them more resilient to future flooding. Through this program, eligible homebuyers can receive grants up to $20,000 for purchasing homes in designated areas or making flood-resilient improvements to existing properties. For remote workers willing to buy homes in these targeted areas, this grant can be stacked on top of the other programs. Program for Vermont Housing Finance Agency programs. Beyond the state's direct grants, the Vermont Housing Finance Agency offers additional incentives for first-time homebuyers and those purchasing in certain areas. These programs include down payment assistance up to $10,000, reduced interest rates on mortgages, and special programs for homes in rural areas or designated downtowns. Combined strategically, a remote worker buying their first home in Vermont could potentially access $50,000 or more in total grants, assistance, and incentives. Now, let me be crystal clear. Getting the full $50,000 requires qualifying for multiple programs, buying a home rather than renting, and sometimes purchasing in specific areas. Not everyone will hit that number, but even at the minimum, the remote worker grant alone puts $7,500 in your pocket just for moving. That's money most states will never offer you. Why Vermont is doing this? Before we go further, you might be wondering why Vermont is literally paying people to move there. Is something wrong with the state? Actually, the opposite is true. Vermont is beautiful, safe, and consistently ranks among the best states in America for quality of life. The problem isn't that Vermont is bad. The problem is demographics. Vermont has the second oldest median age of any state in America at around 42 years old. Young people leave after high school or college and don't come back. The state has been hemorrhaging working-age residents for decades. This creates serious problems. An aging population means fewer workers, less tax revenue, and businesses struggling to find employees. Schools close because there aren't enough children. Main streets empty because there aren't enough customers. Vermont's leaders realized that simply hoping young people would return wasn't working. They needed to actively recruit new residents. And in the age of remote work, they saw an opportunity. Remote workers can live anywhere. They bring their salaries with them. They spend money locally. They pay taxes. They have children who fill schools. They buy homes. They're exactly what Vermont needs. The relocation grants aren't charity. They're an investment. For every dollar Vermont spends on these programs, they expect multiple dollars back in economic activity, tax revenue, and long-term population growth. It's working. Since launching these programs, Vermont has attracted thousands of remote workers who otherwise would never have considered the state. The programs have received national media attention and put Vermont on the map as a destination for remote workers. What life in Vermont is actually like, okay? So Vermont will pay you to move there. But is Vermont actually a place you'd want to live? Let's break down what life in Vermont looks like in 2025. Cost of living, here's where things get nuanced. Vermont's overall cost of living index is approximately 101, meaning it's slightly above the national average. This puts it cheaper than most of New England, but more expensive than southern or Midwestern states. Housing is the biggest factor. The median home price in Vermont is around $380,000 in 2025, compared to the national median of approximately $417,000. That's about 9% below average, which isn't spectacular but is manageable. However, there's enormous variation within Vermont. In popular areas like Burlington, the median home price exceeds $500,000. But in more rural areas like the Northeast Kingdom, Orleans County, or Windham County, you can find charming homes for $200,000 to $280,000. Wren tells a similar story. A one-bedroom apartment in Burlington runs around $1,500 to $1,800 per month. But in smaller towns like St. Johnsbury, Brattleboro, or Rutland, you'll find one-bedrooms for $900 to $1,200 per month. Utilities are higher than average due to cold winters. Expect to pay $200 to $300 per month for heating, electricity, and other utilities during winter months. Groceries are approximately 5% above the national average. A gallon of milk runs about $4.50, a dozen eggs around $4, and bread roughly $3.50. Taxes. Vermont's tax situation is mixed. The state income tax uses a progressive structure ranging from 3.35% to 8.75%. That top rate is among the highest in the nation and kicks in at incomes above $213,000 for single filers. For most remote workers, earning $70,000 to $120,000. The effective state income tax rate falls somewhere around 5% to 6%. Property taxes are higher than average at approximately 1.83%, which translates to about $6,950 per year on a $380,000 home. That's definitely noticeable compared to southern states. Sales tax is moderate at 6%, and Vermont has no local sales taxes, which simplifies things. The good news! Vermont's relocation grants effectively offset years of higher taxes. That $22,500 in combined grants could cover 3 to 4 years of property tax payments. Whether let's address the elephant in the room. Vermont winters are no joke. Average temperatures from December through February range from 10 degrees Fahrenheit to 30 degrees Fahrenheit with significant snowfall. Some areas receive over 80 inches of snow per year. You will need a reliable vehicle with four-wheel drive, a good winter wardrobe, and mental preparation for dark, cold months. That said, Vermont winters are precisely what create the state's incredible four-season beauty. Spring brings mud season, but also the return of green. Summers are absolutely gorgeous, with temperatures in the 70s and 80s, low humidity compared to southern states, and endless outdoor activities. And autumn? Vermont fall foliage is world famous for good reason. The mountains explode in oranges, reds, and yellows that have to be seen to be believed. If you hate winter, Vermont will be challenging. But if you can embrace or even enjoy cold weather activities like skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, and cozy nights by the fire, the winters become a feature rather than a bug. Lifestyle and culture. Vermont offers a lifestyle unlike anywhere else in America. The state is tiny, with a population of only about 645,000. Burlington, the largest city, has roughly 45,000 people. This is not a place for those who need urban amenities, nightlife, or the energy of big cities. But what Vermont lacks in urban excitement, it delivers in natural beauty and quality of life. Over 75% of Vermont is forested. The Green Mountains run through the center of the state, offering world-class skiing at resorts like Stowe, Killington, and Sugarbush. Hiking trails crisscross the landscape, including the famous Long Trail, America's oldest long-distance hiking trail. Vermont's food culture is exceptional. The farm-to-table movement is deeply ingrained here. Local cheese, maple syrup, craft beer, and artisanal foods are everywhere. Burlington has a thriving food scene that rivals cities many times its size. Community is strong. Vermont consistently ranks among the most civically engaged states in America. Town meetings, local politics, and neighbor-helping-neighbor culture are genuine and prevalent. The state is also the healthiest in America by many measures. Low obesity rates, high physical activity, excellent healthcare access, and a strong focus on wellness make Vermont ideal for those prioritizing health and longevity. Job market and economy. If you're relying on local employment, Vermont's job market is limited. Major employers include the University of Vermont Medical Center, the state government, and various small businesses. But high-paying corporate jobs are scarce. This is precisely why the relocation programs target remote workers. Vermont wants people who bring their own employment and income from elsewhere. For remote workers, Vermont offers reliable high-speed internet in most areas, with ongoing investments to expand broadband access to rural regions. The state is actively working to ensure remote workers can perform their jobs effectively. The startup and tech scene in Burlington is growing, though still small. The creative economy, including artists, writers, and makers, is thriving. Vermont's combination of natural inspiration and slower pace attracts creatives looking for an alternative to city life. Who this is perfect for, based on everything we've covered. Let me tell you exactly who should seriously consider Vermont's relocation programs. Remote workers earning good salaries? If you're making $80,000 or more, working remotely and currently paying premium rent in an expensive city, Vermont's math works beautifully. Lower housing costs plus the relocation grants can accelerate your path to homeownership by years. Outdoor enthusiasts, if skiing, hiking, mountain biking, kayaking, or simply being surrounded by nature is important to you, Vermont is paradise. The access to outdoor recreation is unmatched by most states. Those seeking slower pace of life, if you're burnt out on city life, traffic, noise, and the constant hustle, Vermont offers a genuine escape. The pace here is slower, the stress lower, and the quality of life higher. Health-conscious individuals, Vermont's focus on local food, outdoor activity, and wellness makes it ideal for those prioritizing health and longevity. People planning to buy homes. The biggest incentives go to home. If you're ready to commit to Vermont long-term and purchase property, you can access the maximum grant amounts. Those who can handle winter. This is non-negotiable. If you despise cold weather and long winters, Vermont will make you miserable. But if you can embrace winter or even enjoy it, you'll find the state magical. Who should probably avoid this? Let me be equally honest about who should think twice. Those who need urban amenities. If you need big city nightlife, professional sports teams, diverse cultural offerings, or the energy of urban life, Vermont will feel limiting. People without cold weather tolerance. Vermont winters are real. If you've never experienced temperatures below zero, months of snow, and short winter days, you might struggle more than expected. Those seeking diversity, Vermont is approximately 93% white, making it one of the least diverse states in America. If cultural diversity is important to you, this may be a significant downside. Anyone with specialized medical needs? While Vermont has good health care for a rural state, specialized care often requires traveling to Boston or other major cities. For those with complex medical needs, Proximity to major hospitals might be essential. Those seeking quick investment returns, Vermont real estate appreciates slowly. If you're looking to flip houses or see rapid equity growth, other markets offer better opportunities. How to apply step by step, ready to actually pursue this. Here's exactly how to get started. Step 1. Verify your eligibility. Confirm that you work full-time remotely for an out-of-state employer or have out-of-state self-employment income. Gather documentation, including your employment letter, recent pay stubs, and tax returns. Step 2. Research your target area. Vermont is small, but varied. Research different regions. Burlington offers the most urban experience. The Northeast Kingdom is rural and affordable. Central Vermont provides mountain access. Each area has distinct character and price points. Step 3. Apply for the Remote Worker Grant. Visit the Vermont Department of Economic Development website and complete the Remote Worker Grant application. Submit required documentation and await approval. Step 4. Explore homebuyer programs if you're planning to buy. Contact the Vermont Housing Finance Agency about additional incentive programs. Research whether your target area qualifies for flood resilience grants or other special programs. Step 5. Plan your move once approved. You typically have a window to complete your relocation. Plan your housing, whether renting initially or buying immediately. Arrange transportation, utilities, and all the logistics of moving. Step 6. Verify residency and claim payments after moving. Complete the required residency verification. Grant payments are typically distributed in installments over your first 1 to 2 years. The honest bottom line, let me be direct with you. Vermont's relocation incentives are real, generous, and legitimate. Combining programs can genuinely put $30,000 to $50,000 in your pocket over your first few years. This is not a scam or a gimmick. But Vermont isn't for everyone. You're trading urban convenience for natural beauty. You're embracing cold winters in exchange for stunning seasons. You're choosing community and peace over excitement and diversity. For the right person, Vermont represents an extraordinary opportunity. A chance to get paid to live somewhere genuinely beautiful. Accelerate your path to homeownership, reduce your stress, and build a life focused on what actually matters to you. For the wrong person, it's a beautiful trap that will leave you isolated, frustrated, and counting the days until you can leave. The key is honest self-assessment. Do you actually want the Vermont lifestyle? Or are you just attracted to the money? If you genuinely love the idea of small-town New England living, being surrounded by mountains and forests, having space and quiet and seasons, then Vermont's grants are the cherry on top of an already perfect sundae. If you're trying to force yourself to like Vermont just to get the money, you'll regret it. So there you have it. The complete breakdown of why Vermont will pay you up to $50,000 to work remotely. Vermont is one of only a handful of states actively investing money to attract remote workers. The programs are well established, continuously funded, and open for applications right now in 2025. Here's my question for you. Is this something you'd actually consider? Could you see yourself living among the Green Mountains, working from a cozy home, and pocketing tens of thousands of dollars just for being there? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious what's holding you back, or what excites you about this opportunity. If this video opened your eyes to a possibility you didn't know existed, smash that like button and subscribe for more content about relocation opportunities, affordable living, and finding better places to build your life in America. And if you're curious about other states and cities offering relocation incentives, check out the video appearing on your screen right now. Because here's the truth. America is full of places willing to pay you to show up. Vermont is just one of them. The question is whether you're willing to take the leap and create a life that is actually aligned with what you want. The mountains are waiting. The grants are available. The only question left is, are you ready? Thanks for watching. And whatever you decide based on what's best for your life, not just what's familiar.